All right, look, so YouTube has kept their secrets about their little algorithm hidden away in some chamber under some castle or something like that. I mean, seriously, who does that?
You know who.
Wait, what do you mean?
Harry Potter, we get it.
Yeah, okay, it was. All of your favorite YouTube educators have worked tirelessly for years trying to figure out exactly how to hack into this algorithm so that way they can properly teach you how to grow your YouTube channel. And then guess what? YouTube finally decided to open this chamber of secrets and reveal to us exactly what the YouTube algorithm is and how it actually works.
It's not real, man.
I mean, they could have a chamber of secrets, man. You don't know. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically YouTube released 3 videos on their Creators Insider channel talking about discovery on YouTube. I mean, they drop bombshells like this. Did you know there's not just one algorithm? There's actually many algorithms. Or check this out. Did you know that YouTube doesn't actually care about your channel performance? What they're looking at is they're looking at individual video performance. So rather than making you go watch all the Creators Insiders videos, what I did is I watched them all myself. I took the best moments and highlights from it, and we're gonna talk about it right now. What's going on? My name is Max and welcome back to another video. If this is your first time on my channel and you want to learn how to make awesome and successful YouTube content, make sure you subscribe right now so that way you don't miss any content. Starting off one of the bigger highlights, YouTube actually gave the algorithm a name. It's called the recommendation system. The 2 big goals of the recommendation system are to help viewers figure out what types of videos they want to watch and then to keep them on the YouTube platform for as long as possible. The first thing that they did is they broke down how the recommendation system was deciding which videos were giving a satisfactory experience over time since 2011. Back in 2011, YouTube went through a phase called the age of clickbait, and basically what they were looking at was how many clicks and how many views your video was getting, and that was deemed a satisfactory experience. I really don't think people understand how toxic this was back in 2011. There was so many videos getting a ton of views and they were total clickbait. They were misleading the audience to believe it was one thing when in reality it was something else. So obviously that wasn't working. So in 2012, what YouTube did is they focused more on watch time. So for about a 3-year span, YouTube was really going heavy and pushing videos that were getting a lot of watch time and keeping people on the platform as long as possible. So in 2015, they shifted it again to now focus on these 3 specific categories: viewer satisfaction, raising the authoritative voices and content to the top of the list, as well as limiting the amount of potentially harmful content. The second and third one are fairly obvious, but what the heck are they talking about when they're saying viewer satisfaction? One of the ways they gauge viewer satisfaction is they send out surveys every so often to viewers as they're watching videos to see how they feel about it. And from there, what they do is they recommend videos that they feel like will satisfy the viewer so that way they spend as much time on YouTube. On a smaller scale behind the scenes, what they're doing is they're working to make better metrics for creators to be able to determine viewer satisfaction. They've already released some of these, such as the returning viewer metrics, and as well as we have things like likes, comments, shares, and all those different metrics. Let's break down the recommendation system so that way you can actually understand all the algorithms built into the recommendation systems. More specifically, they have 3 big ones that we really care about: homepage, suggested, and search. We've all heard and understand these 3 traffic sources, but the one thing a lot of people don't understand is that all 3 of these traffic sources operate independently of each other. The key thing that YouTube emphasized here is that there's no way to really optimize for one particular traffic source. So the idea is that when you release a video out into YouTube, what they're going to do is they're going to try it in every single different traffic source. Depending on how your video performs in terms of CTR, watch time, and overall satisfaction, YouTube will continue to push your video in that particular traffic source. So if your video is doing extremely well in suggested but not as well in search, that doesn't mean that YouTube is going to stop promoting your video in search. It's just not going to promote it as much in search as much as it will in suggested. Let's go ahead and break down the big 3 traffic sources, starting with homepage. The homepage is obviously the first thing that most people see when they come into YouTube. Basically, the way YouTube described the homepage is it's a slot machine filled with videos you may be interested in based on something called personalization. Personalization is determined by understanding what the viewer has enjoyed in the past, understanding what videos are typically watched together, and understanding how many videos the viewer watches of a certain channel and or topic. After all of that is determined, that's how YouTube decides whether they want to recommend more or less of that content. So based on all of that, you can really see how personalization plays a really big part in how your homepage is designed. So if you're looking at your own personal homepage, the one thing you're going to notice is that YouTube has basically designed this based on your watch history more specifically, and what they're doing is they're ranking those videos in terms of how well they're performing. Let's talk about the next one, which is suggested feed, and this is typically videos that are watched often together, videos that are topically related, or videos that are suggested from the viewer's watch history. So personalization again is a big deal here, because the idea is that just because you're watching a video on one topic doesn't mean that the suggested feed is automatically going to be filled out with videos of that same topic. What the recommendation system for suggested is going to do is going to look at your watch history and determine what videos you are more than likely going to watch next based on your pattern of watch history. The biggest thing YouTube suggested about the suggested feed is that yes, you can't optimize specifically for the suggested feed. However, the one thing they said that typically gets you put on the suggested feed is if you have multiple videos around the same topic. To tie into that, one thing that YouTube talked about pretty heavily in the suggested feed is if you have a consistent thumbnail style that sticks out a lot more on the suggested feed. I talk about that a lot actually in this video right here, so definitely make sure you check that one out next. So to tie up suggested, the big thing to understand here is that yes, you can't optimize for suggested. That's impossible. You can't do that. However, the best ways to get put into suggested is to have multiple videos around the same topic and to also have a really good consistent thumbnail style, because those two things actually stick out to viewers the most. The third of the big three is search, and YouTube did not technically talk about this in their videos, but we do have some understandings of how search actually works. How the recommendation system is going to determine which videos appear at the top of any search ranking is not based on views, it's based on performance and also based on viewer satisfaction. So the idea is that if a video has 1 million views, that it could be outranked by something with like 1,000 views if the metrics for that particular video are better than the one with 1 million views. So if you create a video and over time your watch time and CTR outrank the other videos for that particular search phrase, your video is going to go above those no matter how many views those other videos have. To understand this a step further, we have to go back to the main goal of the recommendation system, and that is to provide a satisfactory experience for every viewer on YouTube. So if your video is providing the most satisfactory experience for people searching for that particular topic, your video is going to rank higher than those other videos. Another big thing they talked about in these videos is how the recommendation system determines how you get impressions. I actually want to save this for another video because it's a very large topic to talk about. However, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into some frequently asked questions that they answered in the third video that I feel like are very valid and important. If one of my videos underperforms, is that going to hurt my channel? The short answer was no. YouTube looks at each individual video and recommends each video based on its performance compared to other videos in the same vein. Simply put, when you release a video, what YouTube is doing is they're not gauging the performance of your video based on other videos on your channel. What they're doing is they're gauging the performance of your video that you release to other videos that are of similar topic and nature. Does changing the video's title or thumbnail re-rank the video in the algorithm? The answer to that was yes and no. The recommendation system is designed to react to how viewers are reacting to your video. So changing your title and thumbnails may either have the viewers react more positively or negatively, and the recommendation system will respond in kind. My biggest suggestion is see how your video does within the first 48 hours to a week, and then decide whether it's a good idea to change the title and thumbnail, because this may positively affect your video. However, the one thing you got to keep in mind is that if your video is already doing well, just keep it the same because it's doing well for a reason. If you take a break from uploading, will this hurt my channel's performance? YouTube says they've done extensive research on this, and there's no correlation between creators taking a break or not and it hurting their overall channel performance. My views are low, but the click-through rate and average view duration are fine. What's happening? Your video may be getting outranked by your competition. Keep in mind that the system is comparing your video to other similar videos. When YouTube says rank, what they're referring to is your metrics, your watch time, your CTR, your overall viewer satisfaction. It's just super fascinating because you may release a video that's performing significantly better than the other videos on your channel, but then when it's compared to other videos that are very similar to that one, you may actually still be at the bottom of the totem pole. Does monetization affect video discovery? No. If I upload a video as unlisted and later flip it to public, will that hurt my video performance? YouTube's answer was no. It's all about how people react to the video when it's actually live. Is it better to post your videos early in the day versus later at night? YouTube's response was long term, this has no bearing on your video performance overall. The one thing to keep in mind is that short term, yes, this can actually affect your video performance because depending on the time frame at which you release your videos may not be in line with the time frame that your audience typically is up and ready to watch video. How important are tags? The short answer was not very important at all. They strongly suggest that you focus on making better thumbnails, titles, and make sure you're filling out your description. This is stuff I've talked about on my channel a lot. Rather than wasting time making all these tags and trying to fill out your tag box, spend more time making a better thumbnail, add keywords and phrases from your tags to your titles and your descriptions, and it'll actually take you a lot further than filling out that tag box. Does setting my channel location to a specific country help me better reach viewers in that audience? Simple answer is nope, doesn't matter. Do I need to upload daily or at least once a week? YouTube's response was it doesn't matter to the recommendation system at all how many times you're uploading. The big thing to understand here is that it's all dependent on your audience's expectations of how much content you should be releasing. So if your audience is conditioned to see a certain amount of content come out per week from you, then they're going to be expecting that level of content to continue. The same thing goes for your competitors. If your competitors are releasing a certain amount of content and you're not releasing the same level of content, they may get disinterested in your content and actually choose to watch the other creators that are creating the type of content at the same volume that they're looking for. So my question today for you is, what did you learn about the YouTube recommendation system? Is this more encouraging or more discouraging based on what we talked about in this video? You're gonna see a video on screen right now that's gonna help you make more engaging, consistent thumbnails for your YouTube video. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.